Hey, I know a lot of you are really frightened of using your Instant Pot. And I'm going to show you one of the easiest things in the world that you can make with your Instant Pot in no time and have wonderful leftovers to use throughout the week, as well, just delicious broth as well as stock. And I'm even going to go for bone broth. Now, I'm not going to be with you live through the whole thing. I'm going to give you the basics. I'm going to show you how to put it on, how to stay nice and sanitary and hygienic, all those good things. But most of all, I'm going to show you that the Instant Pot is really easy. So let's get started. First of all, I got out all of my ingredients because we're going to be making a chicken. And chicken, as we know, has lots of different not so sanitary things about it. So I got out the ingredients so I won't have to touch many after I have started the chicken. Really, really simple ingredients, basic, because remember, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a broth and stock that we're going to be using in different things. So we don't want to add a whole lot of unnecessary flavors. You can add whatever you like in yours, but mine's really basic. Salt and pepper and garlic. I also have onion and celery, and I have some scallions available, so I'm tossing that in too. So let's have a look. As you can see, I've got the chicken in the bag. I've got minced garlic, heaven forbid, but that's quick and easy. And I have, same horrors, iodized salt, just black pepper, extra virgin olive oil, scallions, and an onion. Can't ask for anything more simple. I have, and there's my celery, and I have a really good knife. I recommend a really good knife because it makes life so much more simple. It's quick. You get through everything much faster. If you don't worry about it. But let's get started here. If I can get this thing to cooperate. I'm not concentrating on you seeing me so much as the food. First thing, I always start with my chicken near a sink. Because that way when I pop it open and the juices, they all go down the sink. Now my sink is clean, so I'm going to lay my knife down in there. And as you can see, I'm going to pour out the juices of the chicken. Okay? And the chicken's going to be cooked. So I'm going to sit it back down on the bag in the sink so it's not touching the sink. And then I'm going to pull out the giblets, put them in the other sink. A nice little heart. You might want to do something with those. I personally don't. That's a waste. But I'm not big on making giblet gravy, but like once a year. So, now, and, all right, since my hands are dirty, use my elbow, and I'm going to rinse off this chicken. And then, a lot of people go through the trouble of taking out a lot of things of their chicken. I mostly take out the hunk of fat right there. Any kind of visible fat that I can see in the top of it. And then I just take the chicken and I unceremoniously plop it breast side down in my Instant Pot. And I come back and I wash my hands. Once again. And when you use your soap, you want to make sure you touch the top of that, so you want to make sure you wash that off too. And it's better to use hot water, as I tell myself. Okay, now, one more squirt. Make sure it's good and clean. And the great part about this is this little camera is going to tape how long this is, so we'll know how long it is, including all my yakking, which is going to, if you cut out my yakking, that's a real big time saver. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some olive oil, and I just kind of pour it till it looks nice. Looks nice. It just kind of coats it a little bit. I'm going to come back and I'm going to rub it later, so that'll be good. Garlic. I'm using this, but really honestly, I just add a couple of heaping tablespoons because I like garlic. Everybody likes garlic. Okay. once again, we're going to come back and we're going to rub through real well. Now then, the next one that we're going to do is the salt and pepper. If you want to use sea salt, I'm using up the rest of my iodized salt. Personally, you need iodine in your diet if you aren't eating a lot of seafood. And we don't eat enough seafood. We live in the middle of the States, and anyway, we just don't. So, I'm just going to pour some salt. My daughter taught me this trick. She's a chef. So you just pour some salt in something like a custard cup or any kind of little shallow dish. And then I'm going to add some pepper in there. And that's probably about 2 tablespoons of salt and about a tablespoon of pepper, whatever kind of ratio you want. The big thing is you're getting these all mixed together. And then, like I said, you come back in and you're just coating this chicken with salt and pepper on the top. You take your garlic, you're rubbing it around, and then because the salt and pepper is already in here, you're not picking up the salt and pepper shakers. So you can open up that chicken, get down in the middle of it, come back and rub it all over the bottom, the tops, around the thighs, everything else. Really get it in there. So you've got some good flavor. Go to the other end. Oh, there's another big glob of fat that I missed. And I'm near the sink, so I don't have to worry about dripping everywhere. And I poured some in there. Make sure every little bit has some garlic, salt and pepper, and olive oil. Alright, then I'm going to sit it upright. And I've got a little bit of salt and pepper left over. I'm going to use the hand that I did not use, turn on the hot water again, and once again wash. Alright, now I just touched my hand, even though I've only used one hand, I did touch my chicken hand to my other hand, so I'm going to be careful, and I'm going to have to wash the top of my soap again, because I touched it. Now, one more good squirt, and I'm pretty sure that I've got most of it off. And I've got a little towel, kitchen towel here, right here, so I'm just dabbing off my hands. Now, I have some scallions. I have these, the celery that I used earlier. So I'm going to grab a few ribs of celery, and I'd snapped it. It was washed beforehand, but I'm going to give it another rinse, just to be careful. And then I'm going to take my knife, and I'm going to snip off the ends again. See how a good knife just makes life so easy. This is a Shun knife, and it's a Japanese. It's a very thin blade, and that's one of the reasons. I've got Cutcos. You know, they sell you those Cutcos, and they say how sharp they are and everything. This thing makes those look just like sissy things. Now I'm just going to take a few of these, and then I should have done this beforehand. I'll place these in the very bottom so the chicken doesn't rest on the bottom of the Instant Pot. Come back over, wash again. Maybe I just need to leave the soap in the sink. How do you think? And another pump. Notice I left some of the celery. I'm going to come back and I'm going to use that celery. Now then, and notice that it's whole. I'm not bothering cutting this stuff up. You can use fresh garlic, of course. That's probably going to be better. You can use garlic powder. Just my personal preference. I prefer fresh, but I don't prefer to chop it up. The easier the better. Now that'll save, there's citric acid in this. So if you're worrying about additives, you don't want to do that. You want to just use fresh. And that'll just add not even a minute to the time, really. But that was the equivalent, I think, about 5 garlic cloves. Alright. I did not wash my scallions earlier, so I am washing my scallions. And I am going to chop them up a little bit, just so they spread out kind of evenly. And just toss those on top of the chicken. And the celery, I'm just going to stick in on top with the celery leaves. And then another friend takes her chicken and she puts in the middle of it, she puts a lemon in the middle of it. I don't do that. That's just one more thing that I have to worry about buying. She said it adds a really great taste. One day I'll try it and I'll let you know. I'm sure it does. But the great thing about this, take your onion, and this is kind of an old onion, so that's great. I can use my old onion, take off all the old bits. Take that. I don't need a whole lot of onion. But what I'm going to take and do with it is I'm going to open up that cavity and I'm going to stuff it in there. I'm even going to stick a celery stick in there. Rearrange this pot. And guess what? I'm ready to go. So I have used both hands, use my elbow, clean off, lather up one last time. I'm looking for my soap and it's in the sink. And it's plugged in. It sits over now. If you look at the top of your Instant Pot lid, now I've got like the regular 6-quart that doesn't have a lot of functions. This is when it's sealing. It is sealed. This is how it's going to cook. You always want to make sure this is clean. Both sides are clean, okay? And you want to make sure that your ring is clean. I cooked tortilla soup in it earlier and rinsed it off. So, but when you get ready to release it, you're going to flip that switch. But you don't do that until after the pressure has already released. And it sounds complicated, but it's really, really easy. So, you place this. And then you lock it, then you put it on manual. And the important thing here is to look at how big your chicken is. This is a 5.6 pound chicken. And what you want to do, if it does that, you hit off, because you're going to do it again. You take this and you multiply by 6. Well, that's 5.5, a little bit more than 5.5. 6 minutes per pound. So 5 times 6 is 30 minutes. You've got another over half almost. So it's going to be somewhere between 30 and 36 minutes. So it's going to be 33 is what we'll call it. Oh, 34 since it's 0.6. Manual, we're going to increase the time. What do we say, 34? 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to take... And I'm going to do it again because I turned off the keep warm. And we're ready to go. And look at how little we have left to clean up. That's it. And it's going to take it a while to come up to pressure. If you start out with a frozen chicken, it's still going, that's all the time that you set it for is the same, which is brilliant because it takes it a while to heat up and come to pressure. Well, if it's frozen, it's going to take it longer to do that. So it won't come on and it won't show the time again until the pressure has started. And then it will pressure cook after it's come up to heat for those 34 minutes. Now, if you look at this right here, all right, that's going to pop up when it comes to pressure. Later on, we're going to have a delicious, ready to go chicken and already some luscious broth in the bottom that you can use for other recipes and go from there. And that's how easy it is to use an Instant Pot. That was 15 minutes less to get a chicken going. Later.